Welcome to episode number 8 of the Chris Rose Rotation on Jomboy Media. Today, Stephen Brault of the Pittsburgh Pirates is my co-host. And after we taped the episode, Stephen actually got injured while pitching with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So he's going to be out a few months. The good news is he's on this episode. He's not going to miss a turn in the rotation, but he is going to miss some time with the team that pays him in the major leagues. So he's going to join us the next time through the rotation, kind of walk us through what it's like to be on rehab assignments, get treatment, being away from the team. He's going to be ready to discuss everything that goes into it. And we certainly wish Stephen well as he recovers and gets back to the old battling Buccos. In the meantime, here is the episode with Stephen Brault and eventually Padres pitcher, Brault's former teammate in Pittsburgh and in high school, Joe Musgrove. Stephen Brault of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Apparently, it's uniform, Jomboy Media uniform day on the show, right?
Apparently, he really needs to figure out different colored shirts because gray is about as bland as it gets. And we have different shirts. They're not the same shirt, but they're both the same boring shade of gray. So we need to work on that.
So why don't we go black and gold? Or do you wear that too much to want that in your home repertoire?
Honestly, black and gold is probably it's such a good color combination and it looks so good that I feel like there's no such thing as too much. Gold by itself, too much. But when it's mostly black with a little bit of gold trim and stuff, that's a nice look.
Yeah, you've worn the like the 1979 Pirates. One of the reasons everybody loved them was because I think in that series against Baltimore in the World Series, they wore 7 different uniform combos in 7 games.
Right.
You kind of rolled your eyes when I brought that up. Why?
Because we wore the yellow jerseys with the black pants and the pillbox hat for the last 3 years, other than last year before that. And dude, they were brutally uncomfortable. I don't know. Okay, I get that you want to have the uniform that looks like it did in the 70s. Totally get that. It's you're throwing it back. It's an homage, whatever. But we actually wore like the same kind of uniform. So like it was like more of a wool material than what they use now. And the pants were drawstring. We didn't have a belt. So like the pants felt like they were like falling down all the time. The jerseys were humongous. They were like 3 sizes too big. And the hats were horribly uncomfortable. And there's a reason that nobody wears pillbox hats. And I mean, they are kind of cool because it's like a throwback and stuff like that. But it was cool to wear like twice, and then like, it was like, okay, well, do we really have to wear this every single Sunday day game? We're wearing black pants. Not ideal.
Oh gosh. You know what? You just ruined it for every Buccos fan ever.
I know. I mean, the uniforms looked really cool. And I think that maybe there's a difference of like the nostalgia of the 70s and it like could look cool, but for some reason, like the pillbox hats like didn't fit anybody well. And they would just like kind of fall off, or they would be like super tight on your head. It wasn't like the most comfortable uniform experience.
No, I get it. But, they didn't really feel that back in the 70s because they were too busy partying it up.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Different times.
All right. We've got one of your former teammates, not only in pro ball, but in high school ball, Joe Musgrove, getting ready to join us. That's going to be a ton of fun. And see, you weren't uber close in high school, or what was the deal back then?
Yeah, we ran in different circles. It's what I always tell people. I actually knew his older sister, Tara, better than I knew him because she was in theater with me. But then I also played baseball with Joe, but we never really hung out outside of baseball that much, just because like he had his own group of friends and I had my own group of friends, and my friends were like the weird theater kids. So we just didn't really hang out all that much outside of baseball practice, but we still, we were definitely friends. It was just, we're much closer now that we've grown up and we play Major League Baseball together. And whenever you play on a team with somebody in pro ball, you become close because you're together all the time. But yeah, so it was really weird, playing on the same team in the big leagues, but it was super cool.
All right. So that's coming your way. We'll dive into what he thought of young Stephen Brault back in the day and what you thought of Joe Musgrove back at Grossmont High in San Diego. So that's coming up. Plus, we're going to continue to break down each division. I've given each one of the 6 members of the Rose rotation a respective division that is not your own. So you can be open and honest and don't have to be fearful of retribution. So today you get to focus on the National League East. Okay, I'm going to ask you those hard-hitting questions to preview the NL East. Will you be ready for that?
I believe so, yeah. I'm an avid baseball watcher and follower, so I think I can keep up.
Okay, good. And then we'll check in on your homework assignment and give you one for the next time that we see you in the month of April. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Okay, but the first thing I want to do is ask, how is Tony Wolters doing? Because that poor guy swung and missed, got a strike, and got one right in the onions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's doing all right physically. Mentally, I don't know if he's been able to come back from it. Jomboy did a good breakdown of this, and oh my gosh, I will say it looks like it hits him right in the nuts, but in the Jomboy video, you can see it does hit him in the thigh. So that's good. I mean, that's slightly better, but I mean, you can just see it's just not good. No, I mean, ugh.
Yeah, you weren't there that day, but
Nope.
like, do you even talk to him about it afterward? Do you joke with him? What's the protocol?
Yeah, I immediately sent that video when it popped up on Instagram to like 1,200 of my closest friends. And then the next day at the field, he was catching a bullpen actually. So he was busy. He was doing something. And I walked up next to him and was like, "Hey man, you all right?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm fine." Like it was a good pitch. I thought it was a heater. And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, man. That was tough. It was tough to watch. That's you getting hit while swinging. I've never done it my entire life. And so I don't know what to tell you, Tony. Like, let's go, bud. But he was really good spirits about it, so that's good. But the fact that it was strike 3 and it hit you, I mean, insult to injury to the max. I mean, you ever seen like a guy get hit in like the back foot, when they swing and miss, they get hit in the back foot? Dude, he got hit in the thigh, like the midsection of his body. It wasn't even like behind him. It genuinely, if it was a little bit higher, would have hit him right in the chest. Like, it's crazy.
Oh God, that's beautiful. So when that happens, like, at least once a game, a catcher's going to catch one, right, on a foul tip or something. And then every few weeks they get it right in the nads.
Oh, dude.
And so if you're pitching, what do you do?
There's a whole process for that. There's like the talking to the umpire. The umpire wipes off the plate. You get a ball. You walk around a little bit. You kind of feel it. You're like, that's not the one. Toss it. Get another ball. You take as much time as you possibly can. And most of the time, the catcher is in a fetal position for a little bit, and then like gets up and goes like, "Dude, I'm okay." And you're like, "No, I'm gonna give you a few more seconds. It's okay. Like, don't worry." But dude, that's tough. Catchers, different level of respect from me. They have the hardest job. They do the most stuff, and they get beat up all the time. It's brutal. Stalls always has bruises on his body at all times.
So do you, have you ever crossed up a guy to the point where like you apologize to him, like something hits him without even catching mitt or anything? Has there ever been an instance?
I don't think I ever have. I have seen it. My friend sent me a video a few years ago. He was playing in the minor leagues, and he throws, mid 90s because everybody does nowadays. And the catcher thought he was throwing a slider low and away. He threw a perfectly placed fastball low and away, and it literally hit the catcher straight in the chest. Like, he did not touch it at all with his glove. Hit him straight in the chest. The guy just like crumples over, and he ended up being all right. So then it was really funny, but he said it was the catcher's fault. And I think most of the time the pitcher's going to be like, "That's the catcher's fault. He didn't know the signs we were using." And the catcher's like, "You're an idiot. I know the signs we're using. I know everything that's going on in the field at all times. Okay. I am the catcher. That is my job. It was your fault. Shut up and throw the damn baseball." And then you're like, "Okay."
Have you ever gotten into it? You're such a pacifist, but have you ever gotten into a heated argument with a catcher?
Probably at some point. I try not to argue with catchers. Most of the time it's just because I blame myself. I think I have a good feel on that. Like when I make a mistake or when I give up a home run, I never blame anybody else. Like somebody makes an error, like why would you ever blame anybody else? Like I will call you out for making an error when I never walk anybody ever again. When I never hang a slider, then, I'll start yelling at you for making an error. But no, yelling at catchers would be insane because then why would they want to help you?
Yeah, but I've seen teammates pull other teammates aside. And sometimes we see it on television in the dugout where guys thought maybe you were dogging it and not giving it your all on the field. Like that sort of shit happens a lot, I imagine.
Yeah, that kind of stuff does. That's mental mistake stuff, like if you're not paying attention, if you're not focused, if for whatever reason, there's a play that absolutely 100% should be made and it's not a physical error because we're all going to make physical mistakes, but you can't be out there and not be ready to make the play that, is right in front of you for whatever reason. We had that recently. I don't even know who we were playing against, but they had runners on first and second, nobody out, and there was an infield fly right in the middle of the infield, and our shortstop just like let it drop. Just why, it doesn't really matter. And the guy took off running, like slowly jogging to third, like thinking he was going to get thrown out at third anyway, so he doesn't have to hustle, without knowing that it's an infield fly and you don't have to move at all, and got doubled up because of it. We got out of an inning that, first and second, nobody out, goes to run on first 2 outs because of a mental error. That's the kind of stuff that a veteran player might pull you over and be like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? You've been playing this game for so long. You know the rules. What are you doing? You got to be present at all times,
Yeah, that's where you don't even need a manager to step in. You just,
no.
Right. That's policed in your own clubhouse.
Right. I think they used to have like kangaroo court stuff. They don't really do that anymore. But it's the same thing, it's just players policing players as far as, mental fortitude more than like if it's runners on first and second and somebody hits a ground ball and it's an easy double play ball and there's an error made, we don't get an out. It's like, yeah, that really sucks. But like, I mean, they were on first and second already, so obviously I did something wrong, so it would be crazy to yell at somebody for an error or just a catcher in general.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. It means you're mature.
Oh, thank you. That's what my mom told me. She said, I'm very mature. I said, thanks, Mom. And she said, no, go take out the garbage.
Before we bring in Joe Musgrove, I do want to ask you about Ke'Bryan Hayes. Is he the best everyday young ball player you have played with?
He's the best everyday ball player I've ever played with in general. I played with, I played with Kutch for a little bit. Obviously he was close, but that was a point for some reason. He was having a down year, so I didn't really get to experience it in the same way. Josh Bell had a crazy 2019 first half where he was just, everything he hit was either a home run or a double. Right. But no, nobody compares to what Ke'Bryan does. It's incredible. He makes everything look so easy that it doesn't even look like he's that good. You know what I mean? Like he makes plays that would be hard for other people look extremely routine on defense. I think he's hitting like 700 or something this spring, which obviously is not going to last. So you're not going to hit 700 during the season, but just that kind of like nothing phases him. He's one of those, they call him slow heartbeat guys. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter how hard the ball's hit at him. He's always just going to be like, whatever. I mean, I'm better than everybody else, so I'm just going to do what I have to do. And it's insane to see.
That's damn high praise, bro. For a guy who's played half of a truncated season.
Yeah, I know, dude. But that's what I'm saying is that it's like, it's not, I don't think it's hyperbole. I'm not saying he's the best player ever. I'm just saying that as far as just in and out every day, the consistency of how good he is at everything in baseball, running, he's a 5-tool guy. I've never played with a true 5-tool guy like him. And it's awesome.
It's great. I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, me too.
Charging buckos.
Let's go.
Let's go. But of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates are not one of the favorites in the National League. We talked about that with Steven his first time around the rotation. The San Diego Padres are a favorite to contend for the World Series. We will talk to one of Steven's former Pirates and high school teammates, Joe Musgrove, right after this.
We'll be right back to the Chris Rose rotation after this message from
DraftKings.
Jim. The tournament is in full swing. How about that Iona upset?
I saw it coming from a mile away. Alabama did not stand a chance. I didn't think they'd beat them by 20, but I knew they'd beat them.
Beat them by 2 20s. They beat them by 20 both halves.
Mm-hmm.
Iona beats Alabama by 40. You guys all watched that.
42-2.
Jim, DraftKings, they changed the deal. They gave away that much free money. Now they want to give away more.
There's a new deal?
New deal. The new deal.
FDR.
Bet $1. Oh, my God.
It's free money.
$1 on any tournament game, and if your team wins, you win $100. So, just picking winners, people.
Iona versus UConn. Here we go.
Just pick winners. $1 into $100 if you pick the winner right. And hey, if you're not a basketball guy, UFC 260's rolling through.
I-O-N-A. Iona.
Gales. Download.
That can't be their chant.
The top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code ROSE, R-O-S-E, like the flower. When you sign up, turn $1 into $100. If the college basketball team of your choosing pulls off the win, that's promo code ROSE. You must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9... With it. And we're back.
We continue on here on the Chris Rose rotation on Jomboy Media. And the nice thing is I don't have to introduce you guys to one another since you kind of know one another. It's
We've met before, yeah.
San Diego Padres. So not only were you teammates with the Pittsburgh Pirates, but you were high school teammates in San Diego at Grossmont High. Mm-hmm. Joe, what was your first impression? Do you remember meeting Stephen Brault for the first time?
I don't remember the first time we met, but I never saw Steve as a ball player. I saw him as a drama guy before I knew him as a baseball player. And I always thought that was going to be his avenue and the route that he took. I thought he just enjoyed playing baseball and had fun. He was a good player in high school, really good player. But we all thought, not just myself, but our team included, all thought that he was going to pursue the acting route and the singing. Yeah, he had a great voice, good actor in high school. So we all kind of saw him going that route. And then next thing I know, I'm playing minor league ball. I see that he got drafted. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I didn't really even know he was still playing. And then next thing I know, he's in the big leagues before I am. And a couple years later, we're on the same team.
I made my debut a month before you? Not even.
Yeah, I was August of 16.
Yeah, and I was July of 16. I remember. So I had my debut, and then I immediately went back down to AAA, just a one-day thing. And then, a month later, I'm in a hotel in some Syracuse or something like that. And I saw that Joe, it was your first day, right? That you made your debut?
It was the second day that I was in the big leagues, but yeah, my first actual live game with them.
Yeah. So he came up and was in the pen, and was it McCullers got hurt?
Yeah. McCullers blew out in the middle of the fourth inning.
Yeah. And Joe came in and just struck everybody out. It was the Blue Jays too.
Yeah,
or no, it was the
Blue Jays team that drafted me. I had gotten called up the day before. Sorry, we're kind of taking this and just running with it, but
yeah,
good roll.
I got called up the day before my debut, and it was supposed to be a spot start kind of for one of the guys who was supposed to have a kid. And if he had the kid, he would leave and I would take his start. If not, then I might go back to AAA. I might just kind of hang around. So he ends up making the start. I get told to hang tight. I find out I'm going to be in the bullpen. Then they made a trade. I think it was for Feldman. Feldman went to Toronto, just switched locker rooms, and I came in and took the spot. That night we went 14 innings, and I was told I'm not going to throw. We went 14 innings. I'm the last guy in the bullpen. I'm panicking, thinking I'm going to have to go in the game in the 15th, 16th inning. We end up walking off. So the next day I know I'm going to be the first one out of the pen. McCullers ends up going down in the middle of the fourth. So I come in and warm up on the game mound in front of the whole stadium. And this is the Blue Jays back when they had Donaldson, Batista, Encarnacion. They were stacked. So I had faced them. I come out, warm up on the mound, and I get Encarnacion with Batista on second base for my first at bat. I punch him out and get out of the inning. And then it was just a blackout, man. I ended up setting a record for strikeouts out of the bullpen in a debut. And
it was like
team.
It was 9 in what, 3
I
2/3?
I had 8 and 4 1/3, and I gave up 1 hit in the 9th. But one hit over 4 1/3 with 8 punch outs.
Not so bad.
So I do want to circle back to Grossmont High here real quickly because there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
So Stephen, he thought you were just like this musical drama king, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
What did you think of Joe?
I thought Joe was just a huge jock. He was like, he was dominant on the baseball team. He was one of those guys. Like, our school is a really, really good baseball team, has been for a really long time. And Joe came up as a sophomore, right? Or were you there as a freshman?
I played a little bit as a sophomore, but I didn't even start on varsity until my junior year.
Yeah. So I was the only sophomore that was on varsity when I was a sophomore. And then, like, as the year went on, some more people got added on. But I never played. Literally, I just never played. It was the weirdest thing that I got brought up to varsity as a sophomore to just never play. It made no sense. But when I was the important thing is when I was a senior and Joe was a junior, I would hit 3, Joe would hit 4. Joe is our number 1 starting pitcher, and the finals championship that we had, which we just absolutely rolled through everybody that year. Joe threw a complete game shutout. I went 3 for 4 with a single, double, and a triple, and I think we won 8-0. Like, it was
against our rival too of the school.
Yeah.
Like, we would talk so much crap back and forth with these guys, and
yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I thought Joe was just a huge jock. He also played football. He was like literally one of those guys in football that never came off the field. He played offense, defense, special
long
teams.
snap. I did it all.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, he was just an athletic freak. But he was, I've said this many times, he was a little chubby. I don't know. Like, he was.
Dude, and up until like my senior year, I was.
Yeah. And then he, I don't know what changed. Maybe you just thinned out.
Yeah.
But
so Joe, rumor has it that Stephen was much closer with your sister than with you.
Mm-hmm.
And how did this transpire?
I think my sister took him to prom out of pity because he couldn't find a date or something like that. That's how I remember it. But
that sounds about right. Yeah.
No, I think it was our winter formal, and I actually went with one of my sister's friends. She was a year older than me, and Tara went with Steven. But it was actually a really fun time. We went and we had a party bus together, and party buses were like the thing to do back then.
Oh yeah.
We took our party bus there, went to the after party. But that was a way for me to keep an eye on him, keep him close.
Yeah, it was smart. It was super fun. But I did know Tara better just because, like, there's a lot more, like, a baseball, you're always doing something. But, like, Tara and I were in shows together. And when you're in shows together, there's a lot of time at rehearsals where you're just sitting around waiting for somebody's scene to end, waiting for your turn to rehearse kind of thing. So, like, I just knew her better. And
I feel like you see a different side of someone too in acting more so than you would in like sports and stuff,
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So other than that, like, it's just, nothing crazy. Just, I hung out with her more.
Okay. Well, you know what? Why don't we check out Stephen Brault, the thespian, if you will. Here's one of the Grossmont High musicals.
One last kiss, oh give me one last kiss. It never felt like this. Never felt like this. I know I need your love.
What show is it? What is this?
That's Bye Bye Birdie. How did you get this video? I've never seen this.
Are you Elvis?
Yeah, basically. Conrad Birdie.
Joe, wow. I'm disappointed. You didn't go to that musical?
That wasn't a Grossmont High School.
That
wasn't a Grossmont High School play. That was a community theater play.
I won't knock them that much because I had my share of like theater background. I grew up in a performing arts family, so we went to a performing arts elementary school. So from kindergarten to 6th grade, we did musical arts, we did theater, we played instruments. I tap danced at the Del Mar Fair.
Wow, I did
all kinds. Dude, there's some good footage in there. I don't know what my mom sent you, if she sent anything, but there was some footage of me dancing at the Del Mar Fair. And my claim to fame is that the least experienced person, myself, between me and my two sisters. We did like a trio dance at the Del Mar Fair in tuxedos and like looked real sharp. One of my sisters spun the wrong way in the dance. One of my sisters slipped and fell, and I just kept on going. The show had to go on, so I just carried on through and had a strong finish to the performance. But it was fun. I mean, I love that stuff growing up, and I think I got into like middle school in 7th grade, and I didn't know any different growing up. Like that was always what we did from when like the longest I could remember. So I thought that was like what everyone did. I'm like, everyone's got to be doing this, right? Like the school I went to, all the guys there were doing it. I was like, okay, this is normal. And then I got into middle school, and like after school, everyone's going to like football practice, or they're going to their buddy's house to ride bikes, and I'm going to like dance class, and I'm like, Dad, what are we doing? Like none of my friends are doing this anymore. Like, God, get out of here. So I think I quit it out of like embarrassment, but like that was just because I was a young, immature kid. But I mean, I look back at it, it did so much for me, like helped me come out of my shell a little bit. I'm better talking in front of crowds now. I'm a little more comfortable being in big groups like that. So it did a lot for me at the time that I didn't realize.
That's so weird. I didn't know that, but we went like opposite, because I only did sports and stuff when I was little, and started doing the acting and theater in like 7th grade, 6th grade. Yeah.
Stephen, how is this that you guys have never talked about this before? Because
I don't know. I thought you knew.
I mean, I had an idea that you came from the performing arts family. I did not know you tap danced the Del Mar Fair, because if I had known that, I would have gotten video of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. That is hilarious.
All right. So then you become a first-round pick of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
And 13 months later, you're traded.
Gone.
Which really doesn't happen. When you found out you got traded, were you shocked? Like what happened?
Dude, I was just like, I was shocked at first. The phone call came in. It's funny. The phone call came in at like 7 a.m. on an off day. And we had been up drinking a little bit and like hanging out the night before. So I probably went to bed at like 2:30 or 3, because we had an off day the following day. And I get a call at like 7 a.m. that wakes me up. I answer it like with my eyes still asleep, like just out of it. And it was our director of operations, I believe, with Toronto. And he says, hey, like, I want to tell you, you've been part of a big 10-player trade. I don't have much information for you yet, but we'll call you back when we have more details. I just wanted to give you a heads up in case you saw it online or whatever. And like, I was so out of it, I didn't really even like process what he said. I remember hearing it, and I was like, okay. So I hang up, go back to sleep. I wake up like an hour and a half later, 2 hours later, and I swear I thought I had like had a dream or something. Like it didn't seem real. So I was like, did I just dream that? And I like grabbed my phone and looked at my call history, and sure enough, I had a call from that guy. I was like, that was not a dream. That was real. So I woke up in a full panic. I like called my dad. I called my godfather. I'm like, dude, what did I do? Like, did I do something wrong? Because I'm usually, you don't hear like a first rounder getting drafted and then traded immediately after that 1 year's up. So I was in a full panic, thinking I had done something wrong, or I hadn't met the expectations of what they had expected of me. And, quickly I'd come to the realization that it was a good move for me, and that, it just meant someone else wants you more. And, I went through that whole process, but the first one was tough for me, man. Like the first adjustment, I'd just gotten comfortable with the minor league lifestyle and meeting a new team. And I didn't go to college. So even in high school, we didn't have road trips. We drove ourselves to the game. We had no team bus. So like all these things I was experiencing for the first time. So felt like I had just kind of gotten settled in and gotten my footing in the Astros and the Blue Jays organization. And then I'm gone.
And then
at the time it was to the Astros, who weren't a very good ball club at the big league level. And I was like, dang, I'm going from a place. And this was back when Ricky Romero was leading the staff at Toronto, and that was like my guy I looked up to. And so I was really excited to get to play alongside him. And then I'm going to Houston, where it's an organization that hadn't really been winning. And so there's a lot of emotion there.
So did you find it, because it took you then 4 more years to even get a sniff at the big league level?
I mean, dude, 4 years to even make it out of rookie ball.
What's that?
I said almost 4 years to make it out of rookie ball. I spent 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014 all in rookie ball. I mean, my 14 season was in like short season A ball, but we kind of consider that rookie ball still. It wasn't even a level of A ball.
Still an extended spring. That's all that matters.
Yeah, still I did four extendeds, man. I did 3 instructs. I mean, I grinded through it. And after my 14th season, I finally put together like a year where I was healthy the whole season. I had like a 8-1 record with like a mid-2s ERA. like a good season. And I was kind of upset that I didn't get a look. I was 2 years older than everybody in that league. I didn't get moved at all. So I kind of had a chip on my shoulder going into that off season that, I really got my diet squared away. I think I was like 265 at the time. Then I was pretty big. So I got my diet squared away. I got with a real trainer for the first time, and I kind of got my career going. And I was like, okay, I'm back on track now. Like now it's time to, to give these guys what they expected for in a trade. And I kind of had a little chip on my shoulder. So I went in and put a good work in that off season, and then came back for the 15 season, made low A out of spring training, got my first full season team. And I did low A, high A, double A that year. And then following year in 16, double A, triple A, big league. So, I mean, I really went through the whole system in a matter of 2 years once I got through that 14 season.
He has one of my favorite things in double A and 15, his time there. I think he struck out 55 people before he walked anybody.
I think it was more, dude. I think it was like close to 70. I think I ended the year with like 100 punch outs and 8 walks or something like that.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah.
Well, Steven, did you know that he was struggling before that 15 season, or had you kept tabs on him?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I followed his career, like what was going on. He got injured a lot. That was the main thing that was holding him back in rookie ball. I think it's not like he was struggling to be good. It was like a slower process because he got hurt a few times, a few different things.
And when I was on the field, I was a good pitcher. Like I had put together quality work when I was on the field. I just had a hard time staying on the field. And I feel like going through all those little injuries, and at the time there were such minuscule, like small injuries, but I had never had any health issues growing up throughout high school, throughout travel ball. We played year round, like never any issues. So this was my first time going through like real elbow pain and real shoulder pain. And like, I didn't know what was what. I thought my elbow was torn. It was just inflammation. So I kind of got an idea of what the difference is in hurting and being hurt,
Right. I mean, that's kind of stuff you learn in the minor leagues, dude. It's like you never experience the like playing every day. Like you just don't get that anywhere else. So it's
and as a position really in high school, it's like you pitch once, twice a week, maybe. So like other days you're just doing infield. You're not, like putting the same kind of stress on your arm as you are when you're working as a pitcher only, and you're throwing every day, long tossing, flat grounds, bullpens. It was just an adjustment period for me. And then a little bit of just like suck it up and grind through this,
Yeah, right.
You can't afford to miss any more time. You got to go.
So you end up making it to Houston. You win the World Series with them. And eventually you get traded to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, when did you hear about the trade?
I assume 15 minutes after he did. He texted me it was right before it came out on Twitter. I got a text from Joe that was like, "Hey, dude, just want to let you know, I'm coming to the Pirates." So that's pretty cool. And I was like, "What? Like, no way, dude. That's sick." But it was weird once he got there, and we had we actually were on the same big league team, and it obviously became this big story with the Pirates and everything, talking about it all the time. But it was like, I don't know. People just wanted to harp on the fact that I went to Werner Formal with his sister instead of talking about the fact that we were the best in San Diego for multiple years while we were playing on the same team. And it was cool, man. We became, I was explaining this earlier, we became way closer playing baseball together as adults, as grown adults, where we can actually get to know each other as people more so than when you're just on a high school baseball field. It's not quite the same. And so we became a lot closer, and we see each other sometimes in the off season. We both live in San Diego. My brother cooked all of his meals this off season.
Yeah. And that's what, you said, man. I mean, it was really interesting because I don't know how well anybody really knows each other in high school. Like the things that you value about each other and about your friends, like when you're 16, 17 years old, are a lot different than the things you value in your friends at 28 or 30, So not knowing Steven as well as I felt like I knew him back in high school, getting to play with him every day and be in the clubhouse, you see that he's still the same type of person on the field, but it was interesting to see the different level of player away from the field, a different person away from the field, how much more we had matured in the things that we were interested in now compared to the things we were interested in back then. It was just, that was a really cool thing to see, a guy that I felt like I knew so well back then and actually get to know who he really is, in a professional setting and an adult setting, you know?
Yeah, it was a lot different. And it's cool. And you just never you never really know. But also that video is pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
what was that? Was that our
that was when you finished
out?
it. Yeah, the final out.
Dude, is that the dog pile video or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the dog pile video.
Can you go back and play it? Because there's something hilarious about this. There's a little black kid named Dale Bryant, and you'll watch him coming in shorts, and he tries to dive on the pile and completely misses it and goes airborne over the top.
Oh yeah, you can barely see it.
Remember that?
And then he comes back. Yeah, Dale
There's
was
another clip. It's the funniest thing. He just comes hauling in, and everyone in the pile kind of drops down. So when he dives, he just airmails the whole pile and lands on the grass on the other side.
Yeah, Dale was one of my best friends. He was like our team manager, and he actually just got married a few years ago. I went to his wedding. It was really fun. But that he was like he was like the spirit of the team. And so like afterwards we watched this video and we see Dale just completely missing the pile on the way over. You can barely see it he's right there. It kind of cuts off, but you can see his body just barely go over the top. But yeah, I forgot about that. I jump in like an idiot from right field. It's like I go in feet first, which is really mean. And I apologize to anybody I stepped on. Here, that's me right there. And watch, I'm gonna just jump, just feet first.
God.
Just spikes out. That's terrible. I feel bad.
Yeah, Joe, this might be a dumb question, but was that more fun winning that championship in high school than it was the World Series?
Dude, I mean, that sounds like a stupid question, I guess, but it really, like, at the time, that was the biggest moment. And like the rivalry between us and Helix had been like 4 years ongoing, and it's with the same four guys, like the same group of guys for 4 years, you know, in major leagues, you're constantly switching teams and whatnot. So like we had the same group of four guys, like there's no trades in high school. So like we had battled with these guys year after year after year. And I mean, that's a tough question. I feel like I valued that championship just as much. Obviously, it's a lot larger scale, winning the World Series. That's the highest achievement you can win as a baseball player. But the amount of joy I experienced then was just as much as I did in winning the World Series.
Yeah.
I got honest.
You scoffed at me, Brault. You scoffed. You were like, God, that's a dumb question, Rose.
Yeah, I scoff at you because I haven't won one yet.
Yeah.
So to me, the World Series is still like this crazy unattainable so far.
I get when you talk about just the pure feeling of joy that you have, like not everything and like the importance of it and all the things that come with it. Like obviously winning the World Series brings a lot more cool things than winning a high school championship, but the joy that you experience after that final out's made and everyone's dogpiling, it's just as exciting.
That's awesome, dude. So now you get to go home. And Steven on our first episode said, I'm so jealous of Joe that he gets to go pitch his home games in a place where we would go watch countless games growing up. So like, who were you when you were sitting in the stands? Did you pretend to be a Padre in particular?
Yeah, I was a big Jake Peavy fan. He was one of my favorites, man. And everything, like not only the way that he pitched and like what the caliber of pitcher that he was, but just his approach to the game, his mentality, the snot flying, grunting, and just showing his emotion on the field. I felt like that's kind of how I was as a player, as a kid. And my dad always raised me to be like, you know, a hard playing ball player, but being respectful and not showing up your opponents and just keeping your nose down and doing your job and, you know, keep making it a challenge between you and yourself and not like trying to show up the other guy. So seeing Jake out there like grunting and showing a little bit of emotion kind of allowed me like, hey Dad, like that's a big leaguer doing it. I can do that too. It's okay.
You took 44, didn't you?
Yeah. So I got 44 when I came to San Diego. I wanted 59. I was going to keep that number, but Paddock had it already. And you know, I don't want to come in and be stealing jerseys. I was just as cool wearing number 44 and being able to honor PV. So that number is pretty special to me, but I had some players that I watched that like not many people would know, I guess, but Eric Owens was one of my favorite players. Like,
Dude,
always dirty jersey, always a dude. I like the gamer guys, you know.
The Eric Owens, the Padres had a giveaway when we were kids. That was an Eric Owens long sleeve shirt, that like a dirty shirt,
all
like
dirty. Yeah, dude. I
shirt.
remember that.
Yeah, I think my brother still has that. I swear it's still somewhere because it's just that cool.
Yeah, I loved Kotze. Obviously, like Trevor and Tony were like two legends. If you're in San Diego, you didn't not love those guys growing up.
Brault, who were your guys?
Tony was my favorite with the Padres. I didn't really care about pitchers growing up, as weird as it seems. I always liked hitting way more. So mine was like Tony Gwynn, and then I loved Ryan Klesko. Ryan Klesko. Phil Nevin was cool. Kilvio Veras back in 98, Wally Joyner. I mean, I loved that 98 team because, I was 6 years old, just old enough to be able to remember, going to games and remember the players and stuff like that. But like Steve Finley was my favorite player other than Tony Gwynn growing up.
Wiki Gonzalez.
I saw Wiki Gonzalez hit 4 home runs in one game in Las Vegas one time, and I thought he was going to be the best player in the world. I'll never forget that.
What were you doing in Vegas?
We were there to watch. I don't think you understand how much I watched baseball growing up. My dad was like, "Hey, do you want to go watch a AAA baseball game in Las Vegas today?" And I was like, "Sure." So we drove 5 hours to go watch the AAA team. It was the AAA team for the Padres at the time. They were in Vegas. And then after the game, we drove back.
Okay. All right. You know what? I like it. All right, Pops, way to throw the kids in the car. Let's go. Now you're going to Vegas for different reasons, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So you guys hit 3-4 in the Grossmont High lineup. Mm-hmm. Joe, who was the better hitter?
I think Brault was probably the more polished hitter, but I think I had him on the power and the raw ability.
He had me on stats. I know that.
I don't remember what did you hit? I hit pretty well. We hit like 440, 450 with 10 or 12 homers a year.
Yeah, I only hit like 370 or something with like 2. But
I'd say now you're probably the more polished hitter now. You hit throughout college. I hadn't hit in.
Dude, I watched you have to take all those pitches yesterday.
Oh, that was
hilarious. Those were all right down the middle.
Dude, they were right down the middle.
They weren't letting you swing, huh?
No, they told us just to get our timing. I was like, I can do that on the backfield, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, sorry, he got punched out yesterday.
When Brault went deep in Colorado, what was your reaction?
Dude, I was fired up for him, but like part of me was like kind of pissed because I wanted to get the first one.
Yeah, I wanted to get the first one too. I'm so glad that I did, and I absolutely crushed that ball.
I mean, that whole game, I was more impressed with the outing itself than the homer. I think that game he went like 69 straight fastballs in a row.
69 to start the game. Yeah,
that
was a weird game.
I think the 70th pitch was like a slider to punch out Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
But it was unbelievable, man. It was just fastball after fastball after. I think Arenado hit a solo homer.
Yeah.
But other than that, like nobody touched the ball, and it was just heater after heater after heater after heater.
It was a weird day.
And popped it off with an upper deck tank.
Yeah, but Joe, you almost got yours in Philly.
I almost got one in Philly. I thought I got Samardzija in San Fran, but I hit it to the triples alley. I hit it like 410.
Bad spot.
Over the wall for a triple. I think I got like 3 career triples though.
Yeah.
Lead the Pirates in triples.
I'm sorry, were you on first right there?
Yeah, that was off the wall single. Look at
it. Oh no.
So what's going to happen if you two pitch against one another in 2021? Have you guys talked about that?
I mean, I'm willing to go fastball for fastball.
I'll do it. I mean, you can't hit fastballs. Your swing's too slow. I'm not worried about that. It's the only thing I'm worried about is hanging a slider. That's the only thing that matters.
I don't know. We might match up, man.
I know. We have 7 possibilities.
Yeah.
Play each other 7 times. So, and it's early too. We play each other in April. You guys come here in April, and I
think our first road trip is to you guys.
Yeah. It's we play Chicago, and then we play you guys, and then
cold weather in Pittsburgh. Get some heaters in on the hands.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. I'm going to pull the hands in, hit a ball in the river.
How much fun would that be though for your families?
Oh, that'd be awesome. For our high school, that would just be like bragging rights for the school.
Yeah, they would love that. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
That would be nice.
Did you talk to Early? I gave him our high school coach's number. I don't know. Did you ever talk to him?
Oh yeah, I talked to him, and I asked him. I said, "Who's the better hitter if they hit 3-4 in the line?" He's like, "Oh, Chris, come on, you can't say that." He goes, "I will say that Joe was really he had one of the best years of any pitcher in San Diego history." He said ever. And that's what catapulted him to being a number 1 overall pick. And I was like, and Steven? He goes, well, Steven was into everything. He didn't just like baseball. He said he went overseas with the choir every year to Europe.
Yeah.
Right?
I did. Yeah. Went to Germany,
Joe?
Austria, Spain.
I think that's probably part of what made you so good is that you had interest in other places. So like if you sucked at baseball one day, it's like, that's all right. I'm going to dance. I'm going to choir later. I'm going to this later. It's like, if I sucked at baseball, I was going home and like locking myself in my room until I figured something out.
I mean, think of it this way, Joe. You could have been a tap dancing legend.
I could have been.
You had stuck with it.
Yeah.
You were flawless at the Del Mar Fair. And
I'm gonna have to mix it into my celebration after my first homer.
Oh, dude. Just did it.
Please do. Please do. All right. Before we let you go, we're going to spin the wheel of moderately interesting things. So you're not only a guest, you're part of a game show now on the Chris Rose rotation. So I got several different categories on here, and I'm going to have you each answer the question of the category it lands on. All right.
Last
ready?
time we did this, it was terrible. So I hope it's better.
The first. Don't do this to him. I'm not going to want to do it, Brault.
He has no choice. What's he going to do? Hang up?
Oh, no. It's another one of Let's Play 2. So this is where either Jimmy or Jomboy, the co-creators of Jomboy Media, ask a question. And in fact, instead of Let's Play 2, let's play 3. All 3 of us can answer this question. So here is Jake with the question.
Is this a race to see who answers it first? Or
No.
Okay.
What's the most memorable fist fight you've ever been in?
Oh, the funny thing is, I know this answer for Joe, and I don't know if he'll say it. I don't know if he will.
You?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I go first? I don't know if I've
Yes.
told you this. Is he talking about the downtown La Mesa?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was with my ex-girlfriend leaving like a buddy's. It was Christmas Eve, and we're leaving a bar. We're celebrating our buddy's birthday every year on Christmas Eve, and my girlfriend at the time, like snatched a Santa hat off this random guy outside of the bar as we were leaving. Her grandpa was coming to pick us up, and these guys were giving us a hard time as we're trying to get in the car. Her grandpa pulls up on the curb. Guy won't let us shut the door, so I get out of the car and I kind of like just check him to kind of. I had no intentions of hitting the guy or hurting him. I just kind of checked him to intimidate him, and he started like swinging on me. So we ended up getting in this brawl, going at it. Her grandpa gets out of the car. He's locked up with a guy. It just turns into this huge brawl in the street. And then the next day it's Christmas morning, and I go over to my girlfriend's house to exchange gifts and say hi to her family. And when I walk in the front door, her grandpa's up in front of the whole room, like 15 people in the family. And he's like, and I got this guy locked up against the car. And I walk in the front door and he goes, there he is. There he is. And the whole family gets up and starts applauding me for backing up the family and respecting them and taking care of them. It was hilarious, man. That was one of my better ones.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
See, I don't really, I'm not a fighter. I think we've talked about this before. I'm the pacifist guy, but I do take fighting classes. I box. I did Muay Thai, stuff like that. My first week I did Muay Thai. On Friday is like sparring day, but like it's literally my first week doing it. So I'm not going to spar. I was in high school. I was probably 16. And the trainer was like, hey, Steven, you'll fight me. And I was like, what? And he's like, don't worry, take it easy. It's no problem. So we wore gloves, but we didn't wear shin guards. This is Muay Thai, so you're allowed to kick, you're allowed to throw. You just, once you get on the ground, you get back up. And he turned the clock on and for 3 minutes proceeded to beat the ever loving shit out of me. Dude, he did not take it easy. He started off as soon as the bell rang, he ran at me and did a flying knee and I jumped out of the way. The thing I remember most about is I used to have a video of it and I wish I still did, because 2 things. One, I had a point where he's taunting me and he put his head, you like put your head down. And the idea is that inexperienced fighters will punch you on the top of the head, which obviously does nothing. But apparently I had enough wherewithal to uppercut him in the face when he did that. And it flipped a switch in him. And then like it's on the video that I had, it was just me like backing up. You see me backing up. Now
you're in a real fight.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you just see from like behind my head just go wham, because I got uppercutted so hard but I survived it. I made it through all 3 minutes without quitting. And yeah, that was my most memorable fist fight because that was the only punch I landed for sure. I just got beat up for 3 minutes. I have no idea why he did that to me, but I don't know. I guess it was cool.
That's pretty good. You guys might be shocked to find out I am 0-3 all time in fights.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Right. The second one of my life was with my best friend, still to this day, Jay Novotny. We were walking back outside from basketball practice back to our lockers in middle school. So we're in 8th grade, and it's, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. It had snowed a ton. Somebody threw an ice ball at him, not a snowball, an ice ball. So those things really hurt.
Yeah.
And he thought it was me. So he comes running in. He's like, Rose, what are you doing? He picks me up, takes my head and pushes it into the corner of a door right on top. So that hurts. Picks me up and dumps me in the garbage can. You know how humiliating it is to get dumped in a garbage can?
Oh, no.
At first, so my little fat legs are just in the air kicking around. I eventually get out and I get right next to him and he's looking at me like, yeah, what the fuck are you going to do to me? Like he was bigger, way bigger. And I grabbed the glasses right off his face and I snapped him in two and walked away.
Wow.
That's how I ended the fight.
That's a moral victory, I would say.
Fight, can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
very nice.
That did not end well, and we still laugh about it to this day.
Yeah.
50 years. 40 years of friendship.
Maybe we'll just get a little dust up when we come play Pittsburgh, and we'll have a new fight.
Oh God. Oh no. We have to fight
I
each
wish
other.
I
wish I
find
could
each other.
That the whole deal with Amir Garrett last year and the Pirates, like I would say that would be the most memorable one, but
yeah,
I had just finished pitching that game. I threw like the first 6 innings or something. And then Keone came in and threw the ball over Dietrich's head, and he was out of the game. So me and Keone are sitting in the clubhouse in our slide shorts, just drinking a beer, like watching the rest of the game. And we see Amir race to the dugout, and we're on our feet. We're like, whoop his ass, I'm screaming. And then the fight just goes on and on and on and on. And we're like, shit, we got to get dressed. So we like throw shorts and a hoodie on, and we run out. By the time we get out there, everything's like calmed down and everyone's separated. But
I was in the bottom of the pile because I tried to tackle Amir Garrett as he went to the Trevor's left side to punch him, and ended up wrapping my arms around his waist, and then the whole all of the team pushed him down. And so it was me and Amir Garrett on the bottom of the pile. It was tough, man. It was a really bad decision on my part. I was just trying to help Trevor because I think Trevor was completely unaware he was about to get punched in the face.
Oh, watch that replay. Trevor just standing there.
Yeah.
And this guy's like crow hopping in, and Trevor last minute just gets his head offline to miss the punch.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean that was very memorable, but I spent most of that fight on the ground with my face in the dirt, so not great.
Joe, it was great having you here on the Chris Rose rotation. Thanks for taking a stroll down memory lane. There were some great stories there, so thank you. And you will not leave empty-handed because every guest leaves with a parting gift. Don, tell him what he won. The Chris Rose rotation is giving you the album Stephen Brault, the soothing sounds of a SoCal singer, featuring his latest hit, Watermelon Sugar, Grossmont High. Enjoy, Joe.
Dude, you know what's funny? My girlfriend, her roommate, is actually doing a business deal with your dad, Stephen.
Oh, look at that. See, so many
For
connections.
some real estate. And when I FaceTimed my girlfriend the other night to talk to her, she started dying laughing when she answered the phone. I'm like, what's so funny? And she flipped her camera around. She goes, look what we're listening to. And they had your album playing on the Apple TV in the house. And I'm like,
yes.
Why the hell are you guys listening to that album?
That makes me so happy.
Grace was telling us about Brault's dad working with him and stuff. So it's funny.
Well, now they'll have something else to play on Apple TV. So, Joe, stay healthy. Enjoy your season with the San Diego Padres here in 2021. And I cannot wait for the Musgrove versus Brault pitching versus hitting situation. That's going to be great.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
All right, see ya.
Is there anything better than a fresh mowed grass at the ballpark on opening day? How about freshly groomed balls? Our sponsors at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, are here to help you strike out your bush for good. It's a whole new balls game, folks, and Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code ROSE at manscaped.com. We've all had those nicks and tugs when grooming, but not anymore. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, the Lawn Mower 3.0 trimmer. It also comes with the Crop Preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant, and the Crop Reviver, a spray-on toner for your extra sensitive areas. Manscaped even threw in their Shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. These products are no joke. They're so easy to use, and I have all the confidence in the world with these amazing tools from Manscaped.
Do it for yourself or that someone special in your life.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code ROSE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code ROSE. Baseball's back. Don't let your pubes get out of whack. All right, so we continue on here on the Chris Rose rotation on Jomboy Media. Stephen Brault of the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're going to break down the National League East, because I wouldn't want you to break down the National League Central and then have to face all these guys, because they're all going to say, I heard what you said on the Rose rotation about me. Now I'm going to pound you.
Wow, that's a really good jock bully voice from the 90s. That's awesome. That's just straight out of any bully high school movie in the 90s or before, really.
Yeah, really, it was more like, what's his name from Back to the Future?
Oh,
yeah.
His name is McFly. Starts with B.
Biff.
You know, and that's funny because I actually just watched the Truman Show yesterday, and it's the same guy.
Yes. Okay. Did you like the Truman Show?
I love the Truman Show. I've seen it multiple times. Yeah, I really like it. I like Jim
Did you
Carrey.
fish that one out? Were you searching for it, or was it just on TV? You flipped around and there it was.
It was like one of those. My girlfriend and I were looking for something to watch, and as you scroll through, it was like, oh, the Truman Show. I could watch that, and then she's like, I could watch that too, and it's just like, well, let's watch it. You know, it wasn't. We didn't seek it out. It was not, but it was there, so we watched it, and it was great, just as good as it was the first time.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in probably decades. So yeah, it's probably my turn to go watch it. Maybe that should be my homework assignment for the next time.
Yeah. Go watch a movie, Chris. You need some relaxing time.
Well, I did, you know what? We have family movie night.
Oh, that's nice.
Our youngest son is 15, Brady, and he's into watching all the stuff that I grew up on. So like he loves all the Eddie Murphy comedies, loved Trading Places, loved Beverly Hills Cop. Love Coming to America, all that sort of stuff. So finally we did 48 Hours with Nick Nolte.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, okay.
I've been on a kick recently of older movies, but all action movies. So I watched Predator. I watched Aliens. I watched Rambo, and I watched True Lies. Now I'm going to go to Terminator. I'm just in a Schwarzenegger kick.
Well, True Lies is hilarious. And of course, I worked with Tom Arnold for all those years on Best Damn. And once a month, it would be on TV or whatever. And I said, Tom, it was on again last night. You were so funny. If you could just be like a third as funny on our show as you were in the movie of True Lies, it would be so great for our show.
Well, somebody else wrote the script in True Lies. That's why. That's why it was so funny. He just had to deliver the funny lines.
Yeah, that was a good one, though. That was excellent.
I love that.
All right, let's get down to breaking down the National League East. Let's start with a big acquisition of the New York Mets. Does the addition of Francisco Lindor make them the favorite over the three-time defending NL East champion Atlanta Braves?
No. And here's why. The only reason, because they have Jacob deGrom, who's the best pitcher ever. They have Syndergaard. They have, I don't even know. Their staff is so good.
Well,
and
Carrasco. They've got Marcus Stroman.
They got rid of Steven Matz. I mean, I feel like that tells you what you need to know. They were just like, and Steven Matz is very good. And then they have Lindor playing short. I would say the problem is that Rosario is one of their better players the last few years. So is he still playing there?
No, he got traded in the Lindor deal to Cleveland.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Then you got Pete Alonso doing crazy things, but I I don't see it, dude. The Braves are so good all
Yeah,
around.
that lineup's really. Have you faced that lineup?
I did. Yeah, I faced that lineup. I mean, I've faced it multiple times before, but I faced it in spring training this year. A few weeks ago, I struck out the side in the first, struck out Acuna, somebody else,
Sorry about
and
it.
then Freeman. Sorry about it. And then I walked 3 people in the second inning, but managed to not give up a run. So that's, whatever. Spring training, right? But yeah, I mean, that lineup's crazy, especially against right-handed pitching. They absolutely crushed right-handed pitching. And then I don't know, their staff is really good. I would give the Mets the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the staff,
Yeah.
pitching staff, obviously, but like overall, as terms of just like winning, like the Braves are just one of those teams that seem to always win and are very good at winning. And the Mets, for some reason, have a historic problem with actually putting it together on the field,
Right.
And it's crazy because you have these guys with such good stats, like individual stats, but then they don't get as many wins as they need. And so why is that? I really don't know. But I mean, if you could have Jacob deGrom pitch every single day, there'd be no point in even playing the season. So, yeah, they're going to win every 5th day. That's for sure. It's just the in-betweens.
Okay. If you were starting a team with just a position player in this division, who is your first pick?
It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Juan Soto.
Okay.
You start with Juan Soto. Dude's unreal. I mean, Acuna is also absolutely unreal,
Well, that's why, I mean, you also got the reigning MVP in Freddie Freeman. You've got
And
Francisco
DeGrom.
Lindor. You've got Bryce Harper. So it's not as easy as you think it is.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, my competition would be between Soto and DeGrom, but Soto is 22 years old or something like
But
that.
also I said position player. So,
Okay, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Soto just because not only has he shown that he at his age is completely unfazed in the playoffs and is himself and doesn't change anything and is super, super good. It just seems like he's the kind of guy that's going to be really good for a long time because of his approach at the plate. He walks a lot. He doesn't just hit for power, but he also has incredible power. And as far as, in the field, he's really good. He's not Brian Hayes in the field, but at the same time, I really like Juan Soto's swing a lot, and facing him is tough because, he takes, pitches that he doesn't think he's going to be able to handle early in the count. Late in the count, he fouls off pitches really well. He has an extremely mature approach for somebody his age, and he's just going to get better. So I would say Soto. Do you have a choice?
No, I do. And he's probably it. Acuna is close because of that. I think he can change a game on the bases too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that I need to see like a little bit more maturity out of him, right? Like once a year, he'll hit the wall. He hits it over the wall, and then he's stuck at first. And, we talked earlier in the show about the mental mistakes. Like there's too many of those. I don't see that in Juan Soto's game. Plus, I've never seen anybody as young as Juan Soto with an approach at the plate. And you just talked about it. Like it's unreal. I've never seen a guy with that sort of discipline, particularly in a day and age where guys are swinging and chasing. They think they can handle a heater and, I can get on top. That guy, he waits for his pitch. I've never seen it.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like you said, like this day and age, but especially a power hitter, somebody who everybody knows can hit the ball off the lights. Like you'd think is going to be more like the typical, you think of like Adam Dunn, right? Or like guys like that who are just power and they struck out a million times, but they hit 45 home runs and that was it. I feel like Juan Soto is good with hitting 35 home runs, but also walking a ton, like he's not Barry Bonds because Barry Bonds was just different. It seems like every time Barry Bonds swung the bat, it was a home run. But like with Juan Soto, he's like right at that level of just his approach combined with his power, combined with his ability to hit the ball to all fields. I mean, he's incredible at the plate. And I'd rather have that than have somebody like Acuna's good in the field, but he's not a perennial Gold Glover or anything like that. So like, I would start with Soto and build around that.
Hey, does the Soto thing, the Soto shuffle that he does that bother you? Does that get under your skin or?
No, not at all. Do your thing, man. I agree with the whole let the kids play movement. In the way that let the kids play, but also realize that if you do something really stupid, like there might be some kind of punishment for it. But like that's part of letting them play, right? I mean, that's the way I see it.
Oh God,
I know.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Some sort of punishment? Like so you're telling me that if somebody flips their bat, like,
no.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying flipping your bat. I'm all in on bat flips. I'm all in on the shuffles. I'm all in on stuff like that. I'm talking about like if it were to like, it's hard to even think of specific things, I guess. Like I hate the idea that if somebody, there used to be a thing where if somebody like hit a home run, then next time up, like, oh, he's too comfortable. Like, I don't like that. So I'm going to throw at him. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff I hate. And I guess it's hard to explain. I'm just saying that I agree with the let the kids play in general as a rule, because I think it's really cool and it's really fun. And I don't mind, like when I strike somebody out, I'll hit my glove, I'm not screaming, but like, it's an exciting moment. Like let people be excited. I don't get why people hate on it so much.
Because you know why? Because I think as humans, we're conditioned to believe tradition, and tradition is always right because it was told from your grandpappy to your pappy down to, and that's why. So like when the answer can't always be, well, that's the way it's always been.
Right.
That's not a good enough answer because that means that you're not an independent thinker.
Right. It also means that you're afraid of change, which if you want baseball to be popular again, change has to happen. I mean, that's just how the world works. You have to keep up with the times. And the times right now, like Francisco Lindor is super popular and cool. And I have his shoes like that, I'm a New Balance guy. So they give all of us his shoes and they're like brightly colored. They look like Trix, the cereal on the bottom, like just a bunch of bright colors and weird shapes. And like, they're super cool. And he's got the blue hair because he's at the Mets now. And like, it's cool, like I don't see why people don't understand that you can nowadays it's cool to be yourself and to have fun and to be a little bit loud, and I hate the same thing you do, the way it's always been. That's probably my least favorite thing people say.
Yeah. So here's the deal. When you get a big strikeout in early April, like to end the inning, I want you to throw your hands up and be like, Rose rotation. God, yes. And they'll be like, what did he just say?
Yeah, what did he just say? Rose? Isn't that podcast he's on? Ugh. No, I wouldn't do that. I would literally never do that. But I appreciate the idea. I'm more of like the strike somebody out and then, I think it's pretty swaggy. Like put your head down and like turn around and walk behind the mound while the infielders throw it around. It looks really cool on TV.
Nice.
Yeah.
God, that's so studly. All right. Up next, are you more interested to see if the Washington starting rotation can regain its dominance or if Philly can clean up its putrid bullpen?
Oh, man. Well, the Nationals signed Lester. So now they've got Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, Lester, and Joe Ross. Is that their five?
I think he's back there somewhere, but the top four is pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. I don't know. I think Strasburg and Scherzer are pretty no doubt guys, and Corbin seems to do pretty well very often. He's signed for a lot of money, so I guess he's okay.
Right.
But I would be more interested. I wait a minute. I'd be more interested to see if they can dominate because that they're getting a little bit older, like Strasburg is over 30 now, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Scherzer's at the end of his contract already. Like this is it for him.
Yeah. And John Lester's obviously, he's got to be like 37, something like that. He has one of my favorite stats ever, by the way, that he had 10 years in a row of making over 30 starts. That is awesome. That is crazy. Oh, that's just eating up a lot of innings and doing things really well. But the Phillies bullpen last year was wow. I mean,
it was the worst we'd seen in 100 years.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say much. We went 19-41 last year. So that was pretty terrible. But I did watch a lot. I watched a lot of baseball. So I happened to watch a lot of Phillies games. And man, it was tough, dude. It was weird because like I played against a lot of those guys coming up because their teams are in the same like minor league leagues that I've always been in. And so like they always were good. And it just weird. It just kind of came out of nowhere where all of a sudden, like, it was just like, it was always like a train of just like one person would give up 2 runs and the next guy would come up and give up a run. And then the next guy would come in and give up 2 runs. It was just like, what is happening? Well, I don't think that can happen the same way again, to be honest.
No. And they've made big time improvements. And one of the members of the rotation, Archie Bradley, was brought in to help clean up that mess.
Yeah.
And that if you're a starting pitcher and you end up doing your job and you have to buckle your seatbelt in that dugout to get those last 9 or 10 outs. I mean, there's no worse way to lose a baseball game than late.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's two ways. It depends on who you are. If you're a starting pitcher and you give up 10 runs in 2 2/3, like I did in Chicago, and you literally just lost your team a baseball game in the first 2 innings, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty bad. But yeah, if you're a fan, I think it's definitely worse to lose it in the last few innings, especially if you're like leading the whole game and then your bullpen doesn't hold it. As a fan, that's really heartbreaking to watch.
I hate to do this detour, but you did mention you gave up 10 runs. And you've also said that, hey, listen, I've basically got a 24-hour rule. I'll shake it off. Did that one stick with you longer?
No, that one wiped out pretty quick because I was walking off the field. I had just given up 10 runs in 2 2/3. I just given up a grand slam to Rizzo. That was the last thing I did. And I got a standing ovation from 45,000 people in Wrigley Field because I did so bad. Right. So it's like, well, that's tough. But it kind of makes you realize like, gosh, this is baseball, like it's crazy. It's going to happen. But I gave up 5 home runs that game. And I mean, it was just like, everything I threw was getting hit like so hard. It was just home run after home run. It was crazy. And so it almost made it easier to forget about it because it was just like, all right, clearly the baseball gods were just like, fuck you, you're going to suck today. And then you just move on, it's just like, that wasn't my day. It wasn't my day. Whether I gave up 2 runs and we lost or I gave up 10 runs and we lost, we were going to lose that game. So you just kind of move on. It almost makes it easier when it's that absurd.
You should have tipped your cap on the way out.
Dude, I think I probably would have gotten like optioned or DFA'd immediately. I was not at a point in my career where I could make a joke like that. That's for sure. I wish.
Last question in the National League East. Is Miami the best city to have a weekend road trip in?
This year, the best city in general.
Let's put COVID aside.
Okay.
Let's talk about pre-COVID.
Are you saying best city in the whole league or just in the National League East?
You take us wherever you want.
Okay. Well, Miami's definitely the best in the National League East. We used to stay in this hotel that was literally on the bay and like everybody had a balcony overlooking the water. It was absolutely amazing. But it also had like a club on the top floor and like a club in the middle of the hotel and then like a sushi bar at the bottom. And there were Lamborghinis parked outside. It was the most Miami hotel ever. And I think that they decided like, we're not going to do that anymore. So we stay at a very nice hotel, obviously, but not that one. But going there is super fun because I like to get to know my Latino teammates really well, as well as I can. And in Miami, a lot of them have friends or family that come to visit, while we're there. And so it's always just a huge fun party with the Latino guys. So I really enjoy that part about it. But then I think other than that, the best place has to be, for me personally, San Diego, because I'm from there. And also you're right there on the water. It's beautiful. It's perfect every time you go. I mean, it's the best. But there are some really cool cities. A lot of guys like Chicago because you stay right next to all the shops, and a lot of guys go buy a bunch of unnecessary things that they don't need. I don't do that, so I really like Chicago, but it's not my top. It's hard to beat Miami. Miami's just a ton of fun because you're right next to the water, you're right next to the beach. It's perfect.
Nice. Okay, good job breaking down the National League East for us. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, remind everybody what Mrs. Rose's homework assignment was for you the first time you were on the Chris Rose rotation here on Jomboy Media.
It was for me to get video evidence of one of what I think are the best singers on my team. And I did, but I didn't get the video for the second person who I wanted to, which is a real bummer because we did not see each other at the field today. I don't know how that happened, but he's our bullpen coach. His name is Herberto Andrade, and he sings like literally every day we see each other. We greet each other by going, hola, and he goes, hola, ¿cómo estás? And I go, bien, ¿y tú? Like, seriously, this is how we greet each other every day. And then like when I finish my pitching to go into the game, when I go to I give knuckles to everybody that's in the bullpen, he says, buena suerte. Like, this is a true thing. This is real life. So I couldn't find him today. And that's my fault because I procrastinated. Don't procrastinate, folks. But I did get video of Cody Ponce. He made his debut in last year he was a pitcher, starting pitcher, relief pitcher. He's got nasty stuff. He's a giant. He's like 6'6". But this is him singing Garth Brooks.
Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie fair. The last one to know, the last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there.
He kind of tapers off at the end a little bit. You want to hear the last one you thought you'd see there. You want to hear that little there, but he kind of goes there. But maybe he's inexperienced, he's just learning. But I thought that was really good. And I'm so happy and proud of him because I asked multiple people and people do not want to sing on camera at all.
First of all, I appreciate you turning in your homework, and Mrs. Rose will grade it and get back to you. I imagine she'll give you an A, because you completed the assignment.
Right.
I would have had him stand up because I think it kind of, I don't know if it shortened his diaphragm or.
Well, I mean, when you're bent over, you're literally crushing your diaphragm. We learned a lot about the insides of your breathing when I was in college. Mm-hmm. So bent over. I mean, that's why you see in theater when people sing, they'll like sit like this, right? Shoulders back, chest up a little bit, kind of open everything up. It's not going to help him, but that's what I'm saying is even with doing that, he still sounded pretty good. Yeah.
No, he was wonderful. Tell him an outstanding job, and Mrs. Rose will give him an A++. So
I will. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have another homework assignment before the next time we see you. You start off the season on the road. Do you know where you guys start the year?
Yes. Chicago.
Yes, you're in Chicago.
Did you think I didn't know where we started the year?
Well, there's some people that just don't pay attention.
That's fair.
You listen, I should know better because
you should know better.
You pay attention to everything.
Thank you.
So your homework assignment is go be a food critic in the city of Chicago. Now, I don't know what you're going to be allowed to do because of COVID protocols. I don't know if you can go out to restaurants and things of that nature, or if you just have to order into your room or whatever. But whatever it is, take a video of you being a food critic. And since it's such a foodie city.
Okay. Yeah. I've been to some really cool, fancy restaurants in Chicago. And they're all overpriced and not as good as the deep dish pizza. So maybe I'll grade the deep dish pizza.
That's perfectly fine.
All right.
The guys at Barstool might get pissed off at us. So Dave Portnoy, we apologize if we're stepping on your gig.
Dude,
you've crushed it with that over the years.
I think his following is doing just fine. I don't think we're going to steal viewers away by grading one slice of deep dish pizza in Chicago. I think he's going to be just fine.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's stroll down memory lane of Grossmont High.
Oh, dude, it's always so weird to think about it that Joe and I went to high school together, you know, and we both got drafted, but it's like, there's 30 teams. Like, we're never going to play on the same team. And then when he got traded over to us, it was just like, wait, seriously? Like, no way. And then nobody really knew. And so that when it came out, it was like this big story, you know, and it was just like, I don't know, it was surreal, because also Joe, you know, Joe is now like a superhuman, when in high school he's kind of chubby. And now as an adult, he's like a crazy, like, health nut, like workout nut. The dude's absolutely chiseled, and he's a monster. His shoulders are like 4 feet wide. And then there's little old me, like, hi Joe, remember me? Like, you know, it's really funny, but it was a very cool experience. Sad to see him go, but you know, he's getting to play in San Diego, and good for him.
All right, so we'll see you in a few weeks. Can't wait to see your next homework assignment. Stay healthy and stay warm in the month of April, because I know it can get a little bitter out there.
Yeah, I will do my best. Thank you very much.
Stephen Brault, great job as always. We will see you again here on the Chris Rose Rotation here on Jomboy Media.